Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's crucial for every Next.js developer: styling. How do you make your Next.js applications look great without getting tangled up in a mess of style sheets? It's a common question, and thankfully Next.js gives us a ton of flexible and powerful options. We'll go from the absolute basics to some more advanced techniques, so whether you're just starting out or looking to level up your styling game, you're in the right place.
By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap for styling your Next.js projects like a pro. So grab your favorite code editor and let's get started. First up, let's talk about the simplest way to add styles: global CSS. Every application needs a baseline of styles. Think about your font choices, your body background color, or a CSS reset to ensure consistent rendering across different browsers. This is where a global style sheet comes in. In a Next.js project, the standard practice is to import this global file directly into your _app, JS or _app. CX file if you're using the page's router or your root layout, JS or layout. Let's CX file if you're using the app router. Let's look at an example. You might create a styles directory in your root folder and add a file called globals CSS. Inside this file, you can define your site-wide styles. For instance, you could set the body's margin to 0, define a default font family, and maybe set up some basic link styling. Then, in your _app JS file, you'd simply add one line at the top. Import styles globals CSS. That's it. Next, JS will take this file and apply it across every page of your application. The key thing to remember is that you can only import global CSS files in this specific top-level component. If you try to import it anywhere else, Next.js will give you an error, and for a good reason. It's designed to prevent accidental global style conflicts. This approach is perfect for setting the foundation of your app's visual identity. Now, global styles are great for the big picture, but what about styling individual components? You wouldn't want the styles for your button component to accidentally affect your navigation bar, right? This is where CSS modules come to the rescue. CSS modules are a fantastic feature built right into Next.js. They allow you to write regular CSS, but they automatically scope it to a specific component. This means you can use simple class names like title or button in different components without worrying about them clashing. How does it work? It's all in the file naming convention. Instead of myComponent, CSS, you name your file myComponent module, CSS. When you import this file into your component, Next.js processes it and generates unique class names behind the scenes. For example, if you have a card module, CSS file with a class called container, you would import it like this. Import styles from card module CSS. Then, in your JSX, you'd apply the class like this, class name equals styles container. When you inspect the rendered HTML in your browser, you won't see class equals container. Instead, you'll see something like class equals card _ container _ AB3XY. That long, unique string is what prevents style collisions. CSS modules give you the best of both worlds: the familiarity of writing CSS with the safety of component-scoped styling. It's the default and recommended way to handle component-level styles in Next.js. And it's incredibly effective for building maintainable and scalable UIs. Okay, let us switch gears and talk about one of the most popular styling methodologies in the web development world today: Tailwind CSS. Tailwind is a utility-first CSS framework. Instead of writing custom CSS class names that describe what a component asterisk is, asterisk like primary button, you compose your UI by applying pre-existing utility classes that describe what a component asterisk looks like asterisk. For example, to create a blue button with white text, padding, and rounded corners, your HTML might look something like this. Class name equals BGBU 500 text, white font bold P2P, X4 rounded. Each of these classes, BGBU 500 text white P white 2, does one specific thing. This approach might seem verbose at first, but it has some major advantages. It encourages consistency, speeds up development immensely since you're not constantly switching back and forth between your component and CSS files. And it keeps your CSS bundle size incredibly small because you're just reusing the same utilities. Integrating Tailwind into a Next.js project is a breeze. Official Tailwind CSS documentation has a dedicated guide for Next.js that walks you through the setup process. It involves installing a few packages, creating a Tailwind config, JS and APOSCs, config.js file, and importing the Tailwind directives into your global CSS file. Once it's set up, you can start using utility classes throughout your entire application. It's a powerful and efficient way to build modern UI. Its popularity within the Next.js community speaks for itself. But what if you need even more dynamic control over your styles? What if you want to change styles based on component props or application state in a more programmatic way? This is where CSS-in-JS libraries shine. These libraries allow you to write your CSS directly within your JavaScript or TypeScript files, usually using tagged template literals or object syntax. Popular choices include styled components and emotion. Let's take styled components as an example. You can define a styled component like this: const button equals styled button, and then you write your CSS inside the backticks. The real power comes from its ability to adapt to props. You could write something like background color, $props equals greater than props, primary, blue, white. Now, your button's background color will change depending on whether you pass a primary prop to it. This creates a very tight coupling between your component's logic and its styles, which can be incredibly powerful for creating highly dynamic and reusable design systems. Emotion works in a very similar way. These libraries offer features like theming, dynamic styling, and automatic vendor prefixing. While CSS modules are fantastic for static, scoped styles, CSS-in-JS solutions give you that extra layer of JavaScript-powered dynamism right where you need it. The Next.js app router has introduced new considerations for CSS-in-JS, particularly with server components, so it is important to check the latest documentation for your chosen library to ensure compatibility and optimal performance. Speaking of performance, this is an area where Next.js truly excels, and it's a crucial part of the styling story. You can write the most beautiful CSS in the world, but if it slows down your site, it's not doing its job. Next.js has our back here with several automatic optimizations. When you build your application for production using Next.build, Next.js analyzes all your CSS files, whether they're global styles, CSS modules, or from a library like Tailwind. It then bundles, minifies, and optimizes everything. One of the coolest things it does is code splitting your CSS. This means that for any given page, Next.js will only load the CSS that is absolutely necessary for that page to render. If your homepage uses a specific component with its own CSS module, that CSS won't be loaded on your contact page unless that component is also used there. This process significantly reduces the initial load time of your pages, which is a massive win for user experience and SEO. It eliminates unused CSS and ensures the smallest possible style sheet is sent to the browser. You get all of this optimization out of the box, without having to configure complex build tools yourself. It's one of the silent, powerful features that makes developing with Next.js such a great experience. Finally, let us wrap up with some general styling guidelines and best practices to keep your projects clean and maintainable. First, establish a clear structure. Common pattern is to create a top-level styles directory for global files and co-locate your component-specific styles. This means putting your card module CSS file right next to your card, JSX component file. This makes components self-contained and easy to move around. Second, be consistent with your chosen method. While you can mix and match, for instance, using Tailwind for layout and CSS modules for complex, one-off components try to establish a primary styling strategy for your project and stick to it. This makes it easier for you and your team to understand and contribute to the codebase. Third, leverage the power of variables. Whether you're using plain CSS custom properties, Sass variables, or Tailwind's theme configuration, using variables for colors, spacing, and typography is essential for maintaining a consistent design system. It allows you to make site-wide design changes by updating a single value. My last tip, always think about reusability. Before you write new CSS, ask yourself if you can achieve the same result by reusing an existing component or utility class. This mindset will help you build a more robust and scalable styling architecture in the long run. So there you have it, a comprehensive tour of styling in Next.js. We covered the foundational global CSS for your site-wide rules, the component-level safety of CSS modules, the rapid development workflow of utility-first frameworks like Tailwind CSS, the dynamic power of CSS-in-JS libraries like Emotion and styled components. You also saw how Next.js automatically optimizes all of this for you, ensuring your application is not only beautiful, but also incredibly fast. The best approach really depends on your project's needs and your team's preferences. There's no single right answer, and the beauty of Next.js is that it supports all of these methods, so you can choose what works best for you. I hope this gives you a clearer understanding of your options and the confidence to make your Next.js apps look amazing. What's your favorite way to style Next.js apps? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on web development. I'll see you in the next one.